Welcome back to the Curtain Wire with Jared. I am so excited to have my next guest here, Richard H. Blake, a Broadway actor. Richard, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
Let's go back to the very beginning. What inspires you
Like
to
that's like the 1800s
Yeah, yeah, no,
for me.
we're not the beginning of the acting career here. What inspired when did you start theater? How did you know you wanted to go down, the career?
So I'll try and do the short long story. When I
Yes.
was like 4 years old, maybe even younger, I used to say to my parents, I want to go to UNORC and make commercials.
Yeah.
I couldn't even say it right. And that just seemed like something I wanted to do. But it wasn't something that was in my family. It wasn't something that my parents did. I'm from Rhode Island, which is
Yeah.
the smallest state in the country. So when I was about 4.5, I fell running upstairs. I slipped and shattered my nose. And my parents were like, okay, this kid's really clumsy. We should put him into like gymnastics or something so he learns how to fall. And where I took gymnastics, it was right next door to a dance studio. One day I was walking by the dance studio, I saw some tap dancing in the window, and I was like, I want to try that. They were like, okay, this is about to get noisy, but sure, why not?
Yeah.
Did that, and as a lot of kids do, entered dance competitions. And one of the competitions finals, the nationals, were in New York, and the judges were agents, talent agents. And an agent saw me and was like, hey, we want you to be our client and go out for this show. And I got the show, and that was
What?
pretty much until COVID. I had basically worked from then until COVID was probably my first day
Right.
of unemployment.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
was, it was like nonstop. Like as a child, I was very, very busy, and but
yeah.
it wasn't something like that I was setting out to do. I just, I loved the attention. I loved being in front of people, and once I started dancing, I knew that I, really liked being on stage. And then,
Yeah.
ironically, it just transferred into more of a acting, singing sort of career.
That's amazing. Okay. So I always ask every artist this that comes on because I'm just curious. If you had pursued something not in the arts related, what do you think you would have done?
It would have been cooking for me. I would have been a chef.
Really?
My dad owned a restaurant growing up, and I loved
Oh,
cooking in the restaurant, and I loved all about it. And I do all the cooking in our house, and yeah, I find it therapeutic. I love it. I love the
yeah.
artistry of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely that I would have been a chef.
What do you like to make or bake? Anything specific?
Yeah, I'm not in love with baking
Baking?
because
Okay.
it's so precise, right? You have to
Right.
be like follow rules. I like creating things. I like
Yeah.
throwing things together, making sure that I just, season to taste, as opposed to like you have to have,
Yeah.
tablespoon of salt and this. So for me, obviously I grew up in an Italian restaurant, so I love cooking Italian food, but
Yeah.
I love everything. I'll cook everything. My son really loves like Mexican food and Latin food.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of like Mexican cooking. Just,
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
delicious. Yum. Okay. Um, as you mentioned, your son, is he in the arts at all, or is
he is
he
he is an arts lover, but
okay?
he's an athlete.
Oh, cool.
He's a junior golfer, competitive golfer, and baseball player. So
Fun. I bet that's fun for you though to watch him and do
it's
all those things.
yeah, it's a completely different world. I'm like
Yes.
totally the sports dad. I am
Yes.
at every game, and every match and every,
Yeah.
event that he has, screaming on the sidelines like a fool. But yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
Where do you think he drew the interest for sports?
You know,
Did
he's always been into sports when he was like, little kid.
Yeah.
And then when he was about 8, he was an only child, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe even 7. I think
Yeah.
just the team sport thing, like being around other kids and being a part of a team, was really important to him.
Okay.
And that's where it started. It started, with like football, like pee wee football, and then
Yes.
t-ball and all that. And then baseball really became the thing that he like really focused on for the longest time. And then golf started, and now he's transitioned really primarily to golf. He plays travel ball for baseball, but he plays golf for the school.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Okay. Very cool. Tell us about your training to become a professional in the theater industry. Like what training you had and how, yeah.
So, like I said, I started out as a dancer, and I trained in Rhode Island, but also my parents knew that I needed to have a broad scope of training. So they took me to New York all the time
Yeah.
to train there. So
Okay.
I took it steps in, Broadway Dance Center, and took from all the, great
Yep.
teachers. And then when I got my first show, I was not a singer at all, really. I mean,
Really?
actually, I remember when I was 5, I think I did my first song and dance, and my dad said, to my mom, if you ever let him, sing in public again, I will divorce you.
What?
I mean,
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
exaggerating, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was, let's not do that again.
I'm surprised.
And
Oh, okay.
it was my first foray into it. But then I got my first show. It was a
Okay.
Broadway baby at the Goodspeed Opera House in,
Oh.
like I said, 1800 and something.
No.
And I had to sing. And so I kind of
Yeah.
learned how to sing from the musical director, and obviously, getting all of that, not really like vocal coaching, but they
Right.
obviously help you. And then I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to have to learn. So then I started, when I was a kid, I trained with a vocal coach named Bob Marks, who was like a legend at the time.
Yeah.
And that's where I really started singing, and trained
Okay.
with him for really the majority of my youth. And then I went to PCS, Professional Children's School, and obviously took like music classes and stuff there. But really,
Yeah.
that's more just for us kids who are out working on set and stuff.
Yeah.
But I tell people that for me, the work was the most training that I got, because every director, every musical director, every choreographer that I worked with was a teacher. Every actor that I worked with, I learned something from. I mean, I have
Yeah.
had the privilege of working with some of the greatest, most iconic actors in our industry.
Yeah.
My first Broadway show, which is like, I think
Was-
that one over there, Teddy and Alice,
Yes.
it it had like, the cast was Len Cariou, Beth Fowler, Ron Rains, Nancy Opel, Karen Ziemba, Gordon Stanley. I mean, like, I could just go on,
Yeah.
and I was every day was a masterclass.
Yeah.
And so it's really just about what you take from it. I attribute Jack O'Brien with a lot of what I know now, as just from literally sitting and listening to him talk
Yeah.
about characterization and subtext and development. And uh obviously I've taken acting classes around that, but
Right.
there's no
Yeah.
specific teacher that I really stuck with. I take classes here, take classes there, this and that, but I really attribute the majority of my training to actually doing it.
Yeah. That is amazing. You kind of touched on this, but I'm curious. So growing up, did you have any influences on you that you looked up to, or any mentors or anything, or like actors that you admired in the industry?
um yeah, I mean, when I was young, I think it was my second Broadway show, I did the Scottish play. I did
Yeah.
Macbeth with Christopher Plummer and Glenda Jackson. And that production, if you go back and look it up on IMDb, it's crazy the amount of people that were involved with it. Zoe Caldwell, Alan Scarf, Randall Mell. I mean, like, just like some of the like most gifted Shakespearean actors, and just thespians that you could work with. I remember at the time I didn't really know Glenda Jackson. Obviously, I knew Christopher Plummer because of Sound of Music, and I had done
Yes.
that show.
Yeah.
Um, but Glenda Jackson was obviously someone who did a lot more adult appropriate work that she was known
Yeah.
for. So when I met her, I didn't really know what to think. But after working with her, that was probably one of the times I was like, okay, that's what you want to aspire to be, that kind of professional.
Yeah.
She was the most genuine, giving, sweetest human being, and was known for playing these very dark characters too at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was totally unexpected. But just, I mean, I would watch from the wings and watch her soliloquy and uh, every night and be like, this is crazy. From a personal level, I
Yeah.
would say I got mentored by I did a show called Prince of Central Park, um, and the guy who played the bad guy in the show, his name's Anthony Galdi. I was very young. He was probably, well, let's see, he's 7 years older than me, so he kind of became like an older brother, like even though in the show but I was just a kid, so he was very nice,
Right.
and he was I think a teenager when we started. So uh we developed like this little brother big brother relationship,
Yeah.
and maintained that friendship, and we would work together. We would go to concerts, and he would help me with my singing. He was an amazing singer, and really, I think, taught me how to use my voice to its full potential.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so awesome. So I know you have an extensive resume of all the things you've done, but we know from like you've done Wicked, Legally Blonde, Jersey Boys, etc., etc., etc. Can you tell us about just special moments that you've had being involved in those productions or any of the
Sure.
productions, you know?
Yeah, I mean, where do I begin?
Memories, yes, so many.
You know, there are certain moments or certain things from each show. People ask me all the time, they're like, "What's your favorite show you've done?"
Right, yeah.
And I was like, "There's
They all have
something great about all of them."
yes, yep,
Right? So,
yep,
Rent was
yes.
I was I was one of the first replacements in Rent. So I was there when it was the absolute pandemonium, when it was Hamilton before Hamilton, when people
Yeah.
literally slept around the
Yes.
block to get a ticket. And none of us had, experienced anything like that. I think it was like my eighth or ninth Broadway show, and I had never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
So obviously the show is amazing, but really it was just the first foray into the message boards, which
Ah.
that was the thing. Now we
Yeah.
didn't have phones where
Yeah.
everything was just right there. But
Yeah.
it was, you would go online and you'd be like, what are people saying about me, and why do they hate me? Wait, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they love me. Oh no, they don't. They hate me. It
Yeah.
was it was that first foray like into that.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was cool and amazing, and we went everywhere we went. We were kind of like Justin Bieber. It was like people
Yeah.
would go crazy, so that was
Yeah.
kind of fun. um Aida had probably my favorite work environment. It was probably one of my favorite work environments to
Yeah.
ever work in. Wedding Singer, met some of my longest closest friends. My best friend I met in Saturday Night Fever, my best man in my wedding. you know um and I feel like a lot of the things aren't show related, they're more
Yeah.
experience related. My son
Yeah.
was born during Wicked.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
if you asked me which role I would choose to play again right now, if I could choose any
Yes.
role, it would be
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito in Jersey Boys. That to
Yeah.
me was the role that I felt uh, was just was a perfect role for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I felt fulfilled. I feel fulfilled doing everything, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I just had that
Yeah.
thing. So I'm rambling, but it's hard to
No.
say a moment. There's things in every show. I mean,
Yes.
working with Marie Osmond in
Yeah.
Sound of Music, it was like, grew up watching Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
like my childhood sort of, being like right in my face. Yeah. And
Yes.
so there's, again, I could just sort of like pick something from everything, but.
Yeah. Did you have a show where you're like, okay, this is gonna be more of like a process for me because I maybe wasn't as familiar with the material, or you know what I mean, or just was there like a character that you ever had to play where like you mentioned Tommy DeVito from the Jersey Boys being like perfect? Did you have one where you're like, okay, this is like a different type of role that I would have expected to play, that where I maybe had to do more, just
Um,
or maybe not? Yeah.
well, no, I mean, what's funny is, you know, I started at some point. I think it might have been, was it Wedding Singer? I think it
Okay.
might have been Wedding Singer playing the bad guy. And I
Okay.
kind of did that for a little bit, and that kind of became my thing. It was like, Glenn Gulia into Warner. into,
Yes.
you know, like Tommy DeVito and like these roles
Yeah.
where they're kind of like the you know antagonist.
Yep.
But I mean, from a standpoint of obviously things that I had to learn, probably Shakespeare at whatever 12 years
Yes.
old
Yeah.
was, you know, playing Boy Macduff was uh, something to really have to figure out and learn. And I had to, you know, train really hard with people who knew what they were doing. And I mean, I don't. Cherry Jones played my mother in that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, you're on stage with literally a legend, and you know it's
Yes.
you're like, you better pull up, kid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
better figure it out. You better figure out what
Right.
thou means.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What was the first Broadway show you saw?
The first Broadway show I ever saw, well, on the first Broadway show, and I'm going to
Yeah.
say it was a Broadway show, but I saw it on tour in Boston, was
Yeah.
Annie. Um,
Okay.
and I remember they brought me down and they like gave me like a booster seat because I was young.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought it was magical and fell in love. And then I came to New York, and the first actual show I saw on Broadway was 42nd Street.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And as a tap dancer, which is what I was,
Yes.
I that was it. That was,
Yeah.
you sealed the deal. And then I saw Chorus Line, which
Yes.
in hindsight, you know, I was probably way too young to see,
Yeah.
but I just, you know, the music and the dancing is really what I
Oh
was
yeah.
getting out of it. Let
Yes.
alone the storyline. And then I actually ended up becoming very good friends with James Kirkwood, who was the writer of Chorus Line later when I was working on another show. Um, and that was a treat because I
Yeah.
think I saw Chorus Line on Broadway 9 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Um, what is, do you have a top favorite musical and what is it? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be one that you've necessarily been in, but just if you have a one that you've just always enjoyed, always.
Uh, so my normal answer for that is like, do you have a favorite musical? And I say the next one.
Yes.
It's generally my answer,
Yeah.
but from uh from a perspective of shows that I'm like blown away by,
Yeah.
look, I think Rent was groundbreaking. I think Hamilton was, I mean,
Yes.
I remember when I went and saw Hamilton the first time, I just got angry at Lynn. I was like, it's not fair. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't be this talented.
Yeah.
You know, my
Yes.
best friend who I was talking about was my, you know, best man at my wedding. He was original In the Heights member.
Oh yeah.
Hamilton, you know, he was a part of all of those. So I saw In the Heights 1,000 times back when it was on 37th Street and all the
Yeah.
way through. And I was like, God, this guy's amazing. And then he goes ahead and
Yes.
puts out Hamilton.
I
And
know.
I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like just continues to do it with like
Yeah.
every project after that. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, I admire the genius. You know, I admire
Yes.
greatness in any form of athletics.
Yes.
I'm a huge sports fan, so I you know, when you can measure greatness in athletics because it's mathematical, right? Statistics.
Right.
You
Yeah.
won this many times, this so forth and so on. Art is a little more subjective,
Yeah.
but I think, you know, we can all agree Lin-Manuel is great at what he
Yeah.
does. I think it's just
100%.
kind of like there's really, you can't really debate it.
Yeah.
So there's, so that yeah, I don't know, perfect shows. I mean, to me, I said this before, I think Jersey Boys is the perfect musical.
It's a
I,
great show.
I
Yeah.
think it is the most, at least in the jukebox musical era.
Yeah.
Or genre, because what I will say is, having done, if you look on the wall behind me,
Yes.
pretty much all the jukebox musicals,
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing that Jersey Boys did so perfectly is they never tried to use a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons song to tell the story. They
Right.
told the story, and each time we sang, it was because the story led up to the performance of that song.
Yeah.
For 90% of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't try and make Sherry about an actual girl in the show named Sherry, and
Right.
then try to
Yeah.
create this love story. It's like, no,
Yes.
it was a song, and we did it, and we performed it on the Ed Sullivan Show, and that was
Yeah.
it. So, um, yeah. So I think from a book standpoint to musical, I think it is the perfect book for a jukebox musical. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jersey Boys, what was your favorite song in that show that you enjoyed? And like, did you have a favorite moment in that show? Yeah, tell us about that.
it's an easy one actually for me
Yeah.
because, and I feel like almost all of us who have done the show tend to choose this one. Uh, it's "Cry for Me"
Yeah.
because it is the first time in the show that the four seasons sing together. It is the first time that we make the sound.
Yeah.
So there's something about that song, the harmonies in that song, how it lands. It's just like, you're about half hour into the show, and all of a sudden you get the four guys together and we just start singing, and it's just it
Yeah.
gives me chills when I think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, do you have a role that you would still like to play? And what would that role be?
Um, that's the funny thing. I've never really um been like, oh, I want to play that role. I have to play
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of roles that I would love to do because they'd be fun, but I don't have like that's my dream role.
Sure.
My dream role is a role that hasn't been on stage yet.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but there are certainly a lot of great roles out there. I mean, I think as now that I'm older, uh, I would like to play maybe Valjean. I think that'd be a fun one.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
Because probably I do a lot more contemporary pop musicals, or
Yeah.
contemporary musical theater musicals, so people wouldn't expect my voice that way, I don't think.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Also,
I don't sit and go, God, I want to play that role.
yeah.
I'm waiting for it for one.
For one. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have a favorite musical theater song that you used for auditions or just that you like to listen to? Tell us
I
about
have one. I
that.
have one audition song, by the way.
Do
Like,
you?
I
One
literally have.
audition song.
I have one
Okay.
audition song, and it's one that like everyone and their mother used at one point. I mean, I sing Anthem from Chess, and that's
Oh,
literally like,
wow.
yeah, yeah,
What
and
why that
that's
song? Just
that
do you like the
that's it.
do you like the feeling from that or just like what do you like? Yeah, what
No,
about Anthem? Is
this is gonna sound. I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I don't want it to sound
No,
obnoxious.
no.
So obviously, I had audition songs when I was younger, and then my voice
Yeah.
changed, and then that became my audition song because I loved it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I just never really, this is going to sound weird, but it's
Yeah.
also the nature of the industry,
Yeah.
needed another one.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, they would ask for an audition song, and I'd be like, here's my book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's one song. I'm like, that's the option. If you can't tell that I can sing from that, I'm not to sound like obnoxious like that, but they also are
Yeah.
almost always asking you to sing something from the show.
Right.
So I'm really like, all right, look, this is just so you can hear something that I'm really comfortable with.
Right. Right.
And I
Yeah.
direct a lot now, and that's generally how I
Yeah.
look at things, is just sing something you're comfortable with. If I'm good at what I do, I can tell if you're a good singer or
Yeah.
not. Because the
Yes.
idea is I'm going to sing one of the songs that they gave me that I learned in 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the best I can with it, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be something that I'm like solid. Like I know
Yeah.
this song. And
Yeah.
so to me, the audition song, in my book was always just like, okay, give us something so we can hear something you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so I actually did have one other song. I sang "I'll Be" by Edwin McCain.
Oh,
I
that's
would
a great song.
I would do
Yeah.
that song for any time it wasn't like a music, like traditional musical theater. And
Yes.
it would be like a country show, and I'd be like, I'll sing it country style. I'd
Yeah.
be like, it's an R&B show. I'd be like,
Yes.
I'll sing it R&B style.
Yes.
Just
All
sort
the
of take that
things.
song and do it in any way they needed me to sing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I would love to hear more about your experience in Legally Blonde. That's just one of my favorite
Yeah,
musicals. Tell us about
me
like
too.
Legally Blonde. Yeah, it's such a fun show and
Legally Blonde's like the gift that keeps on giving. It we had no idea, I think, at the time that it was going to be such a, dare I say, cult,
yeah,
classic in the
yeah,
musical theater world. Um, but I still get, kids reaching out to me, or productions reaching out to me, about this show, because it's groundbreaking. They love it so much, and it's
yeah,
done so often,
yeah,
which is fantastic and great, because it's a wonderful show.
yeah,
It's the most fun show I've probably ever done, and uh, what a great story. I mean, don't judge
yeah,
a book by its cover. It's tales old as time. So it's like,
yes,
women empowerment.
yeah,
It's got everything. So that experience was for me awesome, because number one, I was coming off of working in Hairspray with Jerry Mitchell, and
oh
so
yeah, yeah,
that was kind of how it happened. I was doing Link Larkin in Hairspray, and he asked me to do Legally Blonde,
yeah,
uh, and so I digress. I'm going to go back to a little bit
yeah,
the idea about audition songs. I always say I wouldn't have a career if I didn't have a career, which
right,
means I started working, I did well, and I had a good work ethic, and people liked me. And so they kept hiring me.
yeah,
And a lot of times I didn't need to have more audition songs because the
yeah,
people already knew me well enough. It
yes,
wasn't
yep,
because was like, well, I'm not going to learn more songs. It was,
right,
they didn't come up. The opportunity or the
yes,
need for them didn't come up,
yep,
because fortunately I worked with so many people multiple times, and Jerry being one of those people. He's one of my,
yeah,
favorite human beings on this earth. um, but that's an instance where I didn't audition for
right,
Legally Blonde. He asked
yeah,
me to do it because I was working with him at the time.
yeah,
um, so first time, obviously we were excited because of the movie, and first time we did a reading of it, it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. The music was phenomenal.
yes,
It's like so much fun.
yeah,
um and I was just excited about it. And then, when it happened, it was so much crazier than I like ever
yes,
imagined it was going to be. The
yeah,
way like it affected people and affected kids, and then they did the reality show, and
that's right,
that made us
yeah,
all like, TV's a crazy thing, and
yeah,
at the time there wasn't a gazillion things you could watch,
right,
right? So
yeah,
kids who watched MTV were watching this, and we'd be getting noticed on the streets in a different way than Broadway actors normally do. So it
yeah,
was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, I remember I was in college at the time that Legally Blonde when it came out, and I remember having like a watch party for the MTV airing of it because we were so excited because I was like, oh, I don't have to wait to like see this. I can like it'll be on
Yeah.
MTV. And I remember we had a watch party to watch it because I mean also part of the musical I just loved the movie and I was excited to
Yeah.
see how it was gonna translate to the stage and everything. So
Are you
did
excited
you?
for the prequel?
Yes, I think that comes out today, actually, doesn't it?
Does it come out today? Oh wait,
Or
hold on.
isn't it soon? Yeah, I want to say that comes out actually, now that you mentioned that, because it's on Amazon, right?
I think so. James
Yes.
Bond prequel.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, as you mentioned that, I swear I'm like, I think that actually comes out like today.
July 1st? Boom.
Boom. Oh my gosh.
Look at
Well, I
you.
know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be binging the prequel Legally Blonde. Did you have a favorite moment and a favorite song in that show? And tell us more about that.
Yeah, it was a song
Besides the
called
whole show.
Serious.
Yes, I think you know that song. Yeah.
uh, I mean, it's one of the silliest songs I've,
Yeah.
in silliest moments I've ever had to do on stage, which is the most fun. So yeah, I, I loved that. And I also, I mean, there was lots of moments with
Yeah.
Laura Bell that, I love. I did Sound of Music with Laura Bell Bundy at Lincoln Center in, I mean, 80s. So
Okay.
maybe 90,
Yeah.
1990. I don't know, somewhere around there. So we've known each other for, most of our lives.
Yeah.
So getting the chance to, work together is always such a treat.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that moment in the show is probably my favorite. I know it sounds a little,
Yeah.
but from a spectator point of view, um, I think I liked. I mean, Gay or European is
Oh my
probably
gosh,
my.
that's always the
I
number.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just such a great moment, such a great show, and such a
Yeah.
great way that they found to 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 do that
Yeah.
moment from the movie to sell
Yes.
that whole sort of scenario, and it was just really smart, and so it was a fun. It's always a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Every time I see a production of Legally Blonde, that one gets like the loudest, like
Yeah, because
claps and applause.
it's just
So
so
funny.
smart and
Yeah.
funny.
Yes. Yeah. Tell us about, because we all know Wicked. Tell us about your involvement with Wicked. Like your role and your, favorite song, favorite moment. Tell us all the things from Wicked as well.
Yeah. So Wicked was such a huge part of my life. I mean, I was
Yeah.
the longest running Fiero. Uh, and it's, I mean, talking about, I've been very lucky. I mean, I've done
Yeah.
some bombs, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, Prince of Central Parks, that one up there is on the wall at Joe Allen's because we had 5 performances,
Yeah.
before we closed. But again, talking about things that you get out of each performance, I'm
Yeah.
the youngest person to have their name above the title of a Broadway show because of that
Yeah.
show. So, it had positives,
Yeah.
even though there was, unfortunately, it was a huge flop. But
Yeah.
Wicked, I mean, I've been fortunate. These are the shows that
Yeah.
history is,
Yeah.
of theater. So, it's just brilliant for me. My favorite song is "As Long as You're Mine." Um, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's such a fun song to sing. It's so great. The
Yeah.
music, you can kind of like open up as a singer and just like let it go there. Let it go.
Yeah.
But that show, when I got it, it was coming out of Legally Blonde,
Okay.
um, and it was very exciting for me. And then when I started out on the first national tour, and then when actually I think it was Andy Carl left. When Andy's another one, we did,
Yeah.
we've done a bunch of shows together, but also uh, replaced each other in a ton
Yeah.
of things. So I went into the show in New York, and I had just found out my wife was pregnant. So literally, like, I think 2 weeks before I left the tour, I found out that she was pregnant. So it was great. I was coming
Yeah.
home. I
Yeah.
was gonna be home and not on the road.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I've worked with some of the greatest alphabas of all time. Did the
Yes.
show there. My son was born while I was, doing the show, and then I finished the show. And right as I was finishing up my contract, and I was like, all right, I've done this show for 3.5 years at this point. Like it's good. I'm
Yeah.
getting a little old for these white pants, I think.
Yeah.
Um, uh, they asked me if I would go over to Korea and do the show in Korea, and I was like, well, I mean, I'll do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, I'll put the white pants
Yeah.
on again,
Right.
to travel across the world and do it over there. And
Yeah.
so that was one of the most amazing experiences of my career.
Yeah.
Because I have not worked internationally a ton because I've always kind of been here
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting for me to get the chance to go over. And it's the Australian cast that travels through Asia. Um,
Okay.
so it
Okay.
was working with all these Australians, and I didn't have to learn the show
Yeah.
in Korean. We did the show in English, which was
Okay.
such a trip because
Yeah.
the audience is getting it translated on screens.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so the jokes tended to land a line later. Like you would say the joke, and where there's
Yes.
normally laughter, it was crickets because they're
Oh,
reading, and then
right.
you'd move on, you'd start to talk, and then all of a sudden they'd start laughing.
Yeah.
And you're like, you had to get used to the timing of where to take breaks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
I didn't think of that. Okay.
yeah, but I brought my son over there. He was 1 at the time, and that was kind of amazing. It's a long plane
Yeah.
ride to do with a 1 year
Yes.
old, but
Yeah.
he was a trooper. Um, and yeah, so I mean, like that was that experience working with Joe Mantello. I mean, obviously, like
Yeah.
he's one of those Lin Manuel's to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as
Yeah.
an actor, as a director, you know,
Yeah.
those are the gifts we're given.
Yeah. So when watching Wicked, like like from a spectator point of view, do you have a favorite like musical number that you like to watch, your favorite scene that always stuck out to you from just from a spectator point of view?
Um, I mean, from a spectator point of view, I would say, uh, um, what am I saying? Not popular. Wizard and I. My God, I was
Oh,
like,
yes.
so
Yeah.
it's just like, it's that song. It's like the first song in the show that you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
she's gonna let you have it. All right, cool.
Yes.
And you're like, the character just sort of like is put on display there.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, but that being said, so is popular. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to take anything away from the Glinda role either,
Yeah.
because I've seen
Yeah.
some of the funniest human beings on the face of the planet do that number, and
Yeah.
it's, I mean, there's just some really gifted comedians out there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I had the joy of working with Katie Rose Clark as my first Glinda,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like
Yeah.
sheer brilliance, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I listened to the Wicked soundtrack the first time, the first song I actually heard was Popular. And then I actually kind of like what you mentioned too. I remember listening to it and I was like attached to the Wizard and I. Usually everyone's
Yeah,
like Defying Gravity, but I was like, which is great. It's a great song, but I also felt there was something about the Wizard and I that just really pulled me in, I would say.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, I
Defying
know.
Gravity is the end of Act One. You know it's
Yeah.
gonna be epic. You know it's
Yeah.
gonna leave you with the red herring. You know, like all of those things. The Wizard and I, like it's like we jump out the gate, right? Like we
Yeah.
get right to Shiz, and
Yeah.
they treat her a certain way, and you know, Morble's like, you know, ooh, the wizard's gonna like you, and she sings this song, and you're like, whoa. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just the way it builds. I mean,
Yeah.
Stephen's, you know, one of the greatest composers of all time, obviously. Um, and that can be said in so many different ways. Like you have the
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz, Defying Gravity, but then talking about Popular, how smart it is, how
Yes.
smart play on words is, you know, with some of the, you know, Emerald City shiz, you know, Oz
Yeah.
dialogue, you know,
Yeah.
the way we've transformed it.
Right, right. How was it for you? Assuming you saw the Wicked movie that came out as it recognized, I think it was like 20 years for Wicked
There was
on
a
Broadway,
movie?
right?
I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a minute.
I did
Yeah.
see it. Yes, it was
Yes.
absolutely mind blowing. I
Yeah.
mean, first of all, like one of the things I loved is how true they stuck to the show
Yeah.
and the script and kind of what happened. That's a lot of times that doesn't happen when a show
Right.
gets turned into a movie.
Yeah.
Um, what they did is they just kind of enhanced
Yes.
visually
Yeah.
what is on stage, because you really, I mean, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's a great wheel. Keep,
Yeah.
you know, if the wheel works, let's keep the wheel.
Keep going. Yep.
um Visually it was one of the most stunning things, honestly. I there are a lot of great movies out there, a lot of great visuals, and a lot of great actors and actresses. I
Yeah.
was somewhat shocked at the fact that it did not receive more Oscar attention.
Yes. Yeah.
I was a little blown away
Yeah.
by that,
Yep.
because I think visually there's few things that could rival it.
Yeah.
Um, and the performances were, I mean, you're talking about like you have to have a really, really special gift to be able to do all of the things that these actors do,
Yeah.
right? They're acting their butts off. They're
Yeah.
singing their butts off. They're dancing their butts off. I
Yes.
mean, you know, maybe
Yeah.
I'm biased, but I was a little like, really? We're gonna snub this? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. We're gonna snub
Absolutely.
those girls after the performances they gave? Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I am interested to hear more about The Wedding Singer because actually that is a musical that I've actually never seen. I've never seen a production of it. I don't know. I know like some songs from
You
it, but
should.
like,
It,
yes, like I hear great things, but yeah, I'd love to hear more about The Wedding Singer.
so so first of all, Wedding Singer was really exciting for me because I was a huge Stephen Lynch fan.
Yeah,
Stephen Lynch, who played the Adam Sandler role in the played Robbie in the show. Um,
yeah,
he was a comedian. I mean, he is a comedian, and he was a well-known comedian. I used to watch his Comedy Central specials and like thought he was brilliant. Me and my friends would quote him all the time,
yeah,
sing his songs all the time.
yes,
So when I
yeah,
found out he was playing, I was like, there's literally no one more perfect. And
yeah,
I was, I've worked with a lot of famous people, but he was probably one of the people I was most excited to work with.
yeah.
Um, Turns out he's a total jerk. No, I'm kidding. I'm
I
not.
was like,
He's literally the
yeah,
nicest person on the planet.
yeah,
Um, uh, uh, but that whole crew, I call it the crew, that whole
yeah,
cast, um, was such a fun bunch. And we
yeah,
all hit it off so quickly, particularly the guys in the show. I'll say we hit it
yeah,
off so quickly.
yeah.
And we all had similar interests, and we were all big like poker players. So we started out in Seattle, and literally every single night we were in someone's apartment, like playing poker,
Playing
hanging
poker.
out, and you just
Yeah.
develop those friendships
Yeah.
that way. And then when we got back to New York and we opened on Broadway, the producer Margot, she gave Stephen Lynch for the opening night present this gorgeous Texas Hold'em table that he put in his dressing room. And
What?
he's real low maintenance. He had obviously the
Yeah.
star dressing room. He had a chair, and like a comb, and then the poker table, and like that was it. Like, and he
That
had a
was it.
fridge for
Yeah.
like his Fresca because he drank
Yeah.
Fresca like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
But like he had nothing else in there.
Yeah.
And we would go to work. You have to be at the theater at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock show, and we would go to work every single day at 4 o'clock. We would all meet at the theater at 4 o'clock every single day, and we would play poker from 4 until 5 minutes to places, literally
What?
every single
Oh my
day. Yeah, it was
gosh.
like 6 of us in the cast, and
Oh,
it
fun.
was, that's like how you have a good group when you
Yeah.
literally are choosing to go to the theater where you work, go to your workplace when you
Yeah.
don't have to be there.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Did you guys eat like dinner at all during that
we
too?
would
Because
order
like,
in. We would order
oh
in
gosh, I
and
was like, did you
eat
just
while we're
like play straight
playing.
through and
Yeah,
not eat and
yeah,
then
we'd
go on
eat
a
while we're
show?
playing. It was
Yeah.
very, very frat house. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, that's kind of like, I didn't go to college, so for
Yeah.
me, I would say that show was the most college-like experience of
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah.
I was obviously a lot older than college
Yeah.
age, but just the camaraderie, I
Camaraderie.
think is the
Yeah.
way. From a show perspective, you know, I mean, the movie is amazing. Adam
Yeah.
Sandler
Oh
is,
yeah.
a genius. He's great. It's such a fun. You really should see it. It's so silly.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just so silly, and you
Yeah.
have to embrace that. You have to
Yeah.
embrace that silliness when you go in to see it. And it was one of those shows that also had a big cult following. We had
Yeah.
our front row. They did the lottery for the front row, and it would be, I think, 5 nights out of the week was the same people in the front row. Five out of the 8
That's
shows
amazing.
had the same people. Like they came like
Yeah.
5 times a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I think it's just because I've never like had a theater around me yet do it or just something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I need to like see. Yeah, I would love to see it.
I think it's hysterical that it isn't done more because
Yeah.
it's a very clean and wholesome
Yeah.
show for the most
Yeah.
part. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not for the most part. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things my character says are probably the only things,
Yeah.
that are inappropriate. But
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it's not done more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe it's because it's maybe hard for people to build sets for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does cover a lot of
Hopefully.
ground.
Yeah. Yeah. So with you being in like Wedding Singer, Legally Blonde, some of the musicals have been turned into movies. Is there a movie that you think should become a musical that would make a great musical that has not been made into a
Well,
musical yet?
my good friends Marcus, Patrick, and James did the movie that I have been saying for 25 years should be a
Yeah.
musical, which is Lost Boys. Uh, so Patrick Wilson, obviously, Mark
Yep.
Sagan, and James Carpinello. I, I was literally saying that back when Lestat and Dracula and all that came out. Dance of the Vampires, not Dracula. Dance of the Vampires and Lestat and all that came out. I was like, if
Yeah.
there's a vampire musical, it should be it should be Lost Boys. I mean, like, how are we not doing Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Did you ask me if there's a show that should become a movie or a movie that should become a show?
A movie that should become a musical. That would make that would make a great musical. That's not already been made yet.
I think Wall Street.
Yeah.
I think Wall Street, because I think you can update it and make it very, you can change things, but I think the story would be a great musical, and Breakfast Club. Those are the two movies that I think that I actually have investigated, like, getting the rights to those movies.
You should, yes.
Just because I think that, first of all, Breakfast Club, I don't know how anyone hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're talking about like a seven-hander, like it's 7-person cast, like it's got to be the cheapest thing on Broadway, right? Like how are producers not like yes? And Wall Street, I think, is just like I've always just thought it was a great film. I think it has a great message that sort of speaks to the state of the world today and all of that.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah, those would both be great music or movies into musicals. So
going the other way, I will say my son is obsessed with Outsiders.
Yes. Yeah.
My son, I mean, it was brilliant. I think it's brilliant. But my son is really obsessed with it.
Yeah, that was a great one. I saw that one, I think, last year. From my home state of Iowa, I went back to see that one. It's coming to Minneapolis, but I was too impatient to wait because it's not coming to like next spring. So I was like, I'm just gonna go down and see it in Iowa. But I loved the book, and I remember, like, as everybody did, we read the book in high school. So it's fun to see the translation on the stage, and
that's what happened. They were reading it in school.
Yeah.
And it was like, so then he watched the movie, he loved the movie, and then he heard about the show, and he was like, I want to go see the show. So I took him to the show.
Yeah. Are there any other musicals that are currently playing that you enjoy or that you've enjoyed or seen? Which ones are they?
MJ.
Yes.
Is, I think, phenomenal. I can go back and say, like, you're talking about roles that you want to play. Dave and MJ. My good friend Joey Sorge plays Dave and MJ, and I'm like, dude, when are you leaving? Because you have the cushiest gig on the face of the planet. I was like, I'm at the point in my life where the easiest gig is the best gig.
Yes.
Like he literally walks on stage like 3 times, and has a great principal role on Broadway, but works. His load is light. And I'm like, that's the gig right there, man. That's the gig.
Yes.
Like Acid Queen and Tommy is like the gig, right? You come out, you do your end of Act 1, and you're like, I'm done. Peace.
I'm done. Yeah.
But so MJ, maybe Happy Ending, Just in Time.
Yep.
Those are probably. I mean, I love Moulin Rouge. I mean, I'm also this way with film. I just like being entertained. And I can also look at things for the value of entertainment and not come at it from a critical standpoint where I, break it down and think, oh, well, it's development of this. I can, and I will. But at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, that was 2.5 hours of my life. Was I entertained or was I not entertained?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do I feel like I wasted 2.5 hours of my life? No.
Right. Yeah.
Was it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but I mean, I could have just been sitting on my couch, so that was fun.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's so crazy. Pretty much every episode I've had so far on here, everyone's mentioned maybe Happy Ending. That's been like the musical that everyone's been mentioning as like they love, So I've not seen it yet. I've listened to the soundtrack, but it's coming to Minneapolis in the fall, so I'll be seeing it then. So I'm super excited because I've just heard nothing but great things, and since it won the Tonys, I'm assuming it's a good production and everything. So I'm very excited to finally see that. story told on stage. So
You know, I I also hear, there's shows that I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen Hadestown, and I know you
you,
can watch the pro shot of it. I need
yeah,
to go watch the pro shot of it.
yeah,
But I haven't seen that. And I know people have always said that's like a really great show
yeah,
that I actually know
yeah,
very little about.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah. They are releasing a
so
pro
that's
shot.
my. You go see Wedding Singer.
Yes.
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go
Yes,
watch
the
the pro
Hades
shot of
sound.
Hadestown.
Yeah, Hades sound. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So are you nowadays, are you
Mhm.
direct? You mentioned directing earlier. Is that what you're doing now
Yeah,
mainly? Okay. Tell us about
primarily.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of so when COVID happened,
Yep.
the world kind of shut down. I lost my friend Nick Cordero to COVID. I lost my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of like, okay, I think I've worked for 40 years straight in this
Yeah.
industry and I've been blessed. But it does take a lot of time away from your family, from
Yeah.
the other aspects of life. So we chose to slow down a little bit,
Yeah.
we moved down south to the Carolinas, and I work a lot less, and I just
Yeah.
travel up when I need to work, and mostly direct. Although
Nice.
I am getting together, actually leave today. I'm going to do a gig with my fellow Jersey boys.
Oh,
We're
fun.
doing like a big concert somewhere. Uh, so that's kind of fun. I mean, from a performing aspect to get to,
Yeah.
do stuff like that. But yeah, generally these days I try and spend a little bit more time as a sports dad and
Yes. Yep.
only work when it doesn't conflict with the family life.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how has directing been then, being on that side of
I
the
love it.
table for it? Yeah.
I'm a type A personality, a
Yeah.
little bit of a control freak. Um, so, so,
That's what it takes
but
though, I feel like for that. Yeah.
but I think one of the things that make me good at it, if I am good at it at all, is I've never thought I was the smartest person in the room. So I, I think I want to hear all the ideas. And I'm never like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in control, this and that. I'm in control of making the best decision, which is that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I will say it's mine. You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? Sort
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
not really, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like that's kind of how I sort of lead in the room as a director. um
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I love getting
Yeah.
to create, and for me, I think my best skill is editing.
Yeah.
So when you're directing, obviously the creative process of creating the images and all that, like the writer does a lot of the heavy lifting there. The scenic designers do a lot of the heavy lifting there. Even the choreographer does a lot of the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
because they're the ones who really need the visual to be that or they need the requirements for the visuals.
Yeah.
Then my job is to take, okay, well, cool, here's where our set is, here's what our constraints are. How do we make the best pictures and storytelling within that? And
Yeah.
that's editing. That's saying, okay, yep, that's good, nope, move over here, okay, here I'm going to need this from you. Why don't we
Yeah.
take this scene, why don't we sit for this?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being very remedial, but
Yeah.
that's, I think, what I enjoy about it is that I get to sort of step back and go, ooh, tweak that,
Yeah.
just yep, lift that. It's that kind of like trying to
Yeah.
put the pieces together of a puzzle.
Yeah. Well, and also you're coming into it from having such an extensive theater, Broadway experience, credential, all the things, work and everything. So I mean, like, if I were walking into a space and found that you were directing, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm being directed by one of the greatest. Like I'd be
Well,
ecstatic. So
and to that point,
yeah.
I love the idea that I know what it's like to be on the other side.
Yes,
So
exactly.
when I'm talking to actors, when I'm talking to the musicians, when I'm talking to the lighting and the
Yeah.
sound guys, so like that, I understand what it's like to be from the other side, where okay,
Yes.
hearing, I don't just I'm not gonna like just tell the sound guy this and that. I'm like, let's go talk to the actor, let's get
Yeah.
everybody together, let's not
Yes.
just say do this, let's
Right.
communicate. And
Yeah.
my wife might disagree with me and say that I'm not a great communicator. Hopefully she wouldn't, but I
Oh.
think that the key is to really be a good communicator and to
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
That's, as an actor, that's half the time what we want, is to like be heard.
Yeah.
Then the balance becomes, okay, as an actor, you need to know when it's time not to be heard.
Right. Yeah.
And being able to sort of, so like when I go into, rehearsal process, I'm like, look, I really want to hear anything you say. Anything
Yeah.
you have to say, please.
Yeah.
Anyone, from any department, please. Let's pick and choose how and when we do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're always on a timeline.
Yes. Yeah.
Time efficiency is the most important thing. I don't want to waste your time, and I certainly don't want to waste the investors' money time. Right? Like
Yeah.
every minute is dollars.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, all right, let's like come to me. We can talk this and that, but let's do it in a way where it's not like, oh, let's open up discussions.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
what happens a lot of times. Like you'll find people, one person will say something, and then the other person will be like, well, I gotta do this, and then a whole discussion starts. And the
Yeah.
problem is most, and I'll say actors,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the crew so much, but most actors
Right.
always relate it to where their character is coming from.
Yeah.
And my job is to go, great, cool. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
The sum is greater than the bits of its parts. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so I don't even know what I was trying to say there.
Yeah. Are you directing mostly musicals or plays or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both, but mostly musicals.
Okay, what musicals have you directed recently?
Million Dollar Quartet. And recently,
Oh,
so I did obviously Bronx Tale, done productions of Bronx Tale, which has been
yes.
really fun. A new musical called Rise.
Okay.
That's actually going over to Europe for its debut.
Oh,
And a really great holiday musical called True North,
okay.
which I think in the next few years will become part of like the canon of holiday musicals, with the elves and Christmas stories.
Yeah.
Or at least that's our hope.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So Richard, as we wrap up here, what is your advice, of course, for young aspiring theater people that want to work in the industry? What's your advice for them?
Work ethic is everything. Um, you have to, you get out of it what you put into it, right?
Yeah.
And so I have found that you get a lot of actors, and particularly some of them come out of university where they have these expectations and they're going to just get on Broadway, and sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But the key to longevity in this business is your likability and your workability, right?
Mhm.
So like I said, I wouldn't have a career if I didn't have a career.
Right.
There have been plenty of jobs on that wall that I was not necessarily the best person for. I might have been just as good, and the table leaned my way because the person was like, well, I know him, I trust him, I've seen his work, I've
Yeah.
worked with him, he's great to be in the room. That's one of the things that people don't think about, is they only think about what the product is on stage. If I go out there and I act really well and I kill this role, it's going to be great. But you got to remember that we spend 10 to 12 hours a day in a room together.
Yeah.
And if the people hiring you don't want to spend 12 hours a day with you, they're not going to hire you. You have to be
Right.
someone that they can trust and lean on and understand, that this is part of a team. We're all working towards the same goal. So that's like my biggest piece of advice for young people, is that it's a hard business, and we are not entitled to anything. We have to earn it. And even when you earn the roles, that doesn't mean that anyone should give you anything from that point on.
Yeah.
Just because you earned that starring role, and even if you earned a Tony nom, that doesn't mean you should be given anything else.
Yeah.
At least if you believe that, like, and you believe, that that's just not, like, you have to always work for it no matter what, you are going to do better in this career.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say is, it's got to be what you want when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You gotta not be able to see anything else really,
Yeah.
because it's really hard. I try and tell I do coaching,
Yeah.
for kids, and I tell them, I'm like, you're gonna get one yes for every 50 no's.
Yes.
That's the
Yep.
ratio. You
Yep.
can't go out for something and be upset because you didn't get it. It could have nothing to do with you. It could have absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Um, but your goal is to book one job out of 50. Now think about that. That's a lot of rejection. It's a
Yes.
lot. It's hard to wake up every day and hear no
Yeah.
and believe that there's a yes waiting for you. So you
Right.
really have to go, I can't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah. As you mentioned rejection, what would be your advice for handling rejection?
But kind of what I just touched on, which is it don't make it about you.
Yeah.
It's not always about you.
Yep.
You have to think of this. I mean, you may be blonde and they may have wanted a brunette. You may be 6 foot and they wanted someone 5'7".
Yeah.
You may have a more lyrical voice and they wanted somebody with a more contemporary voice. You
Yeah.
might have a oval face and they wanted someone with a square face.
Yeah.
Literally, you might not fit the shoes.
Right.
Like literally, it could be anything. You could have walked in and the director got a bad phone call before your audition and was like, and not thinking about you and not even recognizing your performance. There's so many contributing factors
Yeah.
that if you were to just make it about you and you just beat yourself up and said, I'm not good enough, you're never going to succeed. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the same for everything. I tell my son in
Yeah.
sports, he hits
Yeah.
a bad shot in golf and he gets down on himself and he's like, I suck. I'm like, do you think you're going to go hit a good shot now? If you're
Yeah.
thinking about how bad that last shot was, do you think that you're going to get up there and hit a good shot? Or should you go, all right, cool. I'm in the rough, but I got a clear shot. So what am I going to do? All right, cool. I can do this. I can hit this ball on here. I can see it. That's
Yeah.
positive. That's going to get you, that's going to get you positive results.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. And in all aspects of everything, sports,
Yeah.
theater, all the things. So, Richard, where can people follow your journey at? Where can they, find your work, follow you for journey?
Jared, I'm 175 years old,
No.
so I'm really bad at social media. So I had obviously social media, and I had a very substantial following, and
Yeah.
then I got hacked, and
Oh, okay.
and they like I had to get rid of my accounts and get rid of everything, and then start
Oh,
over.
oh,
So
shit.
and when I did, I kind of like didn't really. I decided kind of to shy away
Not.
from social media
Okay.
so much. You can
Okay.
find me at Instagram at richard.h.blake.
There we
Um,
go.
you can go to at richardhblake.com. I mean,
There we
there's ways
go.
you can find me on Facebook. On
Yeah.
Facebook, I have my real name, which is my real last name is Thomas. But
Yes. Yeah.
so you can follow, but that's all like family. Like you're gonna see a
Yeah.
lot of stuff about my son.
Yeah.
but
Yes, that's great.
but yeah, I mean, these days I kind of shy away from
Yeah.
the public eye.
Yes.
It's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
I know we're
Yeah.
supposed to, but I I talk to my son about it all the time. I'm like, don't live your life through the lens. I'm like,
Yes.
experience it in real time.
Yes. That is also great advice. Great advice.
Yeah,
So, yes, awesome. Well, Richard, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a
this was awesome.
pleasure
This was
having you
fun.
on. I'm so glad it was so fun to talk about all the things with you. So, yeah, we appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, thanks, Richard.
Thank you.